Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Namibi Kemano Yekachi, one of the co-founder of G4S Play Consults. Yeah, today now another day for another podcast. What we will discuss today now, photography. So one of the things we inspired this particular conversation are because of say for our own end, we don't get a lot of people we want join our training session, and we will also use this medium to also talk about one of the things or some of the things where it entails for you to be a photographer. You get so just to enlighten them based on some little things we say they guys know before time. You get so that's why we want to get this particular podcast for today. So right here I get Daniel, I get Idris, and I get Mr. Ayo. Just and them going to chook mouth for this particular matter, and everything where they're going to talk about now from their own personal experience. Do you understand how they don't take go about some of the things where they do for the industry just regarding photography. You get so I want to start with Daniel. Yeah, Daniel. So for you, waiting photography mean?
Okay, photography is just basically it's about still pictures majorly. It's about is basically in my understanding what photography is all about is about still pictures whereby you're having you take a picture whereby you are with your family, you are with your friends. Maybe you will go on and you just bought a new set of clothes and you want to show the people that I just bought this set of clothes. You understand? That is what photography is about majorly to maybe some people. But in terms of the media aspect and in terms of creativity, photography has to do more with being creative in the sense that there are certain rules and principles one have to follow when you want to take pictures and when you want to get into photography. So basically, photography is about creativity. That's what I would say photography is about.
Okay, you say photography, they all about creativity. Do you understand? So when you talk about still picture, so what can be the difference between still picture and motion picture?
Still picture, just for example, let's look at still picture as house, for example. So house, mostly you look at a house is immobile, understand? Is wherever it is, that's the way where the house will be. You cannot move it. You can't how do I put it? The best thing you cannot do to a house is maybe renovate it, break some parts, cement, all those, change structure, understand? So that's what still picture is all about. It's about taking picture about taking picture of people not in motion. Understand? They will just be stagnant in one fixed point.
Just like a family portrait.
That's right, exactly, more of like a family portrait. But when you're now talking about motion pictures now, motion pictures just like, for example, the way water flows, for example now. If you look at water, the way water flows, it depends on the, how I put it, on where the force behind it. Like let's say, for example, let's say somebody wants to splash water now. You have to open the, let's say for inside a bottle, like open the bottle, you sprinkle it away, understand? So that's what motion is all about. Motion is about movement. About movement. You moving from one point to another. So that's the difference between photography and motion.
Okay, now we say the difference between still picture and motion picture.
Exactly.
Okay, Ajibola, make a push on to you. Waiting photography means to you.
Okay. So photography is the act of bringing imagination to life.
Imagination to life.
Yeah.
Okay, but people where you want snap, they know they no be imagination.
No. Wait. We have different kind of photographers.
Okay.
We have different kind of photographers.
Okay.
We have the one that creates manipulative photos.
Okay.
And we have the one that just take normal portrait. We have wedding
So
photographers.
can you give us an example of manipulative this in photos?
Okay, let me say, what kind of illustration can I use? Okay, let me use like Black Panther.
Okay.
Black Panther as a case study. If you are watching Black Panther, you see Black Panther movie has claws. He has claws. Then they always put a panther in his front.
Okay.
Okay, so people can actually take the risk of using a real life panther. Then wearing the costume, wearing that actual costume and taking that photo with the panther. So that's how we call manipulative photography. When we have we're using the animal to illustrate the person. Okay, like this person is like a panther.
So you mean, in other words, when we wear costume to take a particular picture, to portray something basically. Yeah. So you talk something before I cut you off.
Okay, so I said photography is the act of bringing imagination into life.
Okay.
Or either using to keep memories, because some like mostly why people take photo is like the act of keeping memories of people. Okay, let me just use this scenario of a dead woman, like a dead father or someone that is dead. Okay, someone that is dead. What they always use and remember that person is the person's photograph. No matter all our presidents that are dead, or all our heroes, all our fallen heroes, what we used to remember them is okay. A child has been born. Once okay, this person. Without the person photograph, you can't know the person face. So because some people usually forget faces, so we use photographs to use like okay to remember the kind of person, to know how the person still looks when the person was alive.
Okay, so for memory purpose,
Yeah.
you get for reflection purpose,
Yeah.
you get now waiting photography means. So what if you talk about the difference between still pictures and motion pictures?
I would say still pictures are just for people that are just taking picture. Let's say a family picture. Like, okay, let us take this picture in a static way. People are focused, like it is intentional. Still pictures are intentional. Motion pictures are unaware, mostly for athletes. Okay, let me say athletes covers sports. Okay, mostly for athletes. Let's say just somebody that just taking an unaware photo of, let me say, a car coming towards him. Then someone is having a reaction inside the car, either shooting his head out or something. Then the photographer takes that photo. You understand that kind of thing? So that I was motion pictures are pictures that have been taken on. How would I put it? That have been taken on either when someone is running or when someone is moving from a point to another. That's motion. Okay, that's different. So still pictures are the one that are being intentional, that have been taken by people. Okay, let's stay together and take this photo.
With what you describe now, be say even motion picture can also be intentional.
No,
also.
motion
Yes,
most
motion picture can be intentional.
most
Exactly.
that's why I said either you're taking a photo of someone outside, because motion picture are mostly unaware. Only if you
No, you know go talk say na unaware. You
They are
go
mostly
talk,
unaware.
You go talk say from the people or from the things so you don't see for previous years that now unaware.
No,
because there are people where we say their work now to plan motion
Yeah,
shoots.
sure.
some people
Yeah.
can plan motion shoots.
Yeah,
Some people
so,
can plan motion shoots.
Like when you talk about all this product ad video with all this product ad, do you understand?
Exactly.
You get they plan them. You get what we
Plan.
say. You go see say the way they plan their camera and coach. So you go talk to people about say from your own personal experience. You know go generalize the whole thing.
Sure.
Yes,
maybe you can come from that part.
Yeah.
But most photographers like okay, that let's make this motion picture natural
Okay.
and very very realistic. They always take it unaware, so
Yeah.
it's like so that reaction will be there. Because if you're intentional, there will be no way your mind will still be there. That okay, I'm doing this thing.
I want make you bring in balance, do you understand? Because you get one. I want make you bring in balance because what they talk, they reflect more of like a still picture.
Yeah.
Just like if I go by waiting Daniel describe for us waiting still picture mean, do you understand? Yeah, they refer more like a still picture because they talk unaware.
Sure.
Now what you just they talk about thing. So if I be footballer waiting for on top pitch, waiting for pitch where I just stand. If you snap me, do you understand? You go talk to a motion picture.
Yeah, I can be running. Then I take the picture.
Take the picture. When you take the picture, you go become still picture now.
No, it's not going to become still picture. That because the face is on motion.
Hey, there's something that they talk at me.
Wait. It's like you guys don't get me well. When the footballer is running or an athlete is running, when you take the picture, it's not the way you take the picture, it's what the picture is saying, because the picture is telling a story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You they see they place emphasis on picture. Yeah, which is fine. Yes, sir, which is fine. But when they talk, you never differentiate the vision between picture, motion, and still picture. Just like now, my point be that. Okay, beside you, don't hear you.
Okay, so
But me, I'm not going by your point. That's all I'm trying to say.
so the instance of what you're actually saying as regarding what emotion photography is all about, or let me say emotion was good. Yeah, emotion photography. When you talk about motion photography, what you need to understand about motion, when we talk about motion, is movement.
Now what's that they talk?
You know, it needs to move from a particular jurisdiction to another jurisdiction, which is from one area to another area.
But remember,
where all the steps go show.
Exactly.
but remember, we're not talking about video here. We're talking about photograph.
one of the major representative for motion graphics
Is movement.
movement. And when you talk about movement, we talk about video.
Video,
Sure.
exactly.
Do you understand? So
I
now
love
what
video.
you guys
You
understand.
said,
Okay.
but wait. Hear me out.
Yeah.
You said motion photograph and what? Still picture photograph, abi?
Yeah.
All of them they under photography,
Photography, sure.
whether you like it or not. Do you understand? So now the motion or still, what kind of shoots? I want shoots. Which kind of shoots? Now wedding shoots have been a normal photo shoots,
Yeah.
but all of them are shoots.
Shoots.
So the differentiation will come in when you say motion or still.
Or still.
God.
And
You
there's
cannot,
nothing
you cannot call it a, wait.
And wait, and there's nothing like you know that under photography now, there's nothing like we call emotion photography. Do you know that?
It's nothing called motion photography.
So, from your own definition, what you are trying to tell us now is that okay, we have something called motion photography.
There's something called the motion photography.
Photography.
Sorry, Moku no use motion photography. Moku use motion picture and still picture.
Picture.
Do you
Yeah,
understand? You get
that's-
that's the word. You get Moku no can't get to confuse people.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you understand?
Uh-huh.
So when you now talk about okay, motion pictures, you should automatically know that okay, you are telling a storyline that will not end.
Besides, you don't answer your own question like this. So
I'm just trying to to
no,
depict it,
you
okay.
don't answer your question
Okay,
like
good.
this.
So okay, when you talk about motion photography, you understand motion photography is all about the kind of photography that talks about movements, that talks about the actions being taken in sequence. You understand? It's telling us about the action that takes place at a particular time. Then okay, just an examples of what was it called? When you are trying to tell a storyline about a particular event. You know, when you show the moment whereby you show let's cite an example of a wedding. The moment you show whereby the husband moves down from the car, then moves down to the church, you know, the sequence in which you are documenting those what's it called?
Photograph.
Moment, or photograph. You are actually telling that okay, this is how the whole stuff is being arranged, or the sequence in which they followed each
Each
other.
other.
That means it's intentional then.
So it can be intentional and it can be unintentional. So these two things come to play.
No, wait. What you don't get, what you don't get, him is trying to explain it. He's not saying this is how it is. He's just trying to explain it. That was it.
It's not in your place. Let him explain. Finish now.
He just said it's intentional.
So it can be what's it called? It can be intentional and it can be unintentional. So everything that happens under photography is from the subconscious mind in terms of okay, sometimes you can just decide to make it happen and sometimes you can decide not to make it happen. So everything that surrounds photography is very, very amazing. Photography is not all about you snapping pictures or taking pictures. Photography has to do with creating a durable or iconic image that will stand the test of time in generations to come and in periods to come, that people can actually credit that who actually take these pictures
NFT.
or what and what. Yeah, like NFT, when you go online on NFT and some other platforms in which you can actually sell your jobs, you see so many things about photography that will actually what get you up. So up to your game in the photography industry. So photography is all about creating a durable image that will stand the test of time for generations to come. So
Yeah.
up to you, sir.
Yeah,
That one touched me.
That's why, Mr. Ayo. That's why we say Ingo day for this podcast. That because they're not tired. Yeah, because when you talk about motion, you understand. For my own view, do you understand? Now any motion, do you understand? Now anything we feel move, where they move, do you understand? Now where the motion comes in, whether unaware or aware, do you understand? But when we talk about still image, you understand? Now picture will be say once you go just stay for that particular spot, you can have the difference between the both of them, motion pictures and motion picture and still pictures. Do you understand?
Sure.
Because at the same time you get now still the same still picture you go use convert to motion. You get, because now just like we say how you see frame by frame, you get now how it is being calculated. Do you understand? So Ajibula, so hope we are good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things also I don't also observe, say most times newbies they always get the one of the issue why I know say newbies they always get now to bring in balance between ISO and aperture. You get. I actually wanted David today for this podcast. Do you understand? So that he will even talk to me. You get Moko even talk about even ask him say waiting it be like balancing aperture and ISO. You get because that now where issue they did and it kind of they turn their head. Do you understand? And those of you now will say they for this industry when I go feel relate better. You understand? The first time when you first use the camera, trying to understand when to use this one and when not to use this one, or how to compensate for each other. You get. So Daniel, so when I go talk, when I want actually say waiting be the difference between aperture and ISO and how you go take bringing balance into the equation.
Okay. So I don't want to make it look complicated.
No, it is not complicated.
But in simple terms, what ISO is all about is majorly the sensitivity of the camera lens to light. So like the way it is that ISO has to do with the general term is like the lower the ISO, the lower the lightning. Understand? The higher the ISO, the higher the lightning, and vice versa. Understand? So that means invariably, that means we are saying here that it's more the camera is ISO in the camera is more like a sensor that once the number is being increased, automatically it picks that okay, is to increase the amount of light that will pass through the camera lens and get into the picture or into the camera in general. So it ISO has to do majorly with the lens that you are using. You understand? That's to tell you, ISO has to do majorly with the lens you are using.
No, I don't really go with what you say. It depends on the camera you are using. Because we have some cameras that the ISO is like 1,600. We have some cameras that their ISO rate is 6,400.
Yeah,
They are more.
3,006. Yeah.
So it depends on the camera, it's not the lens.
Okay, I stand to be corrected.
Yeah.
It has to do with nah, not to buy that big. It has to do with the camera. Sorry, I made a mistake. It has to do with the camera, not the lens. Sorry. So now, what the one that actually has to do with the camera now is what you call aperture. Now, what aperture does is that it's like just like your iris.
Wait, point of correction again. It's not with the aperture does not work with camera. Aperture works with the lens.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the kind of let's work with this aperture that works with lens now.
But also sometimes you also need to also understand where they come from. But when we also talk about camera, do you understand?
Yeah.
We refer to all the parts of the
The
camera.
camera.
Do you understand? For now, waiting me, I feel say maybe now waiting in the try one talk. Do you understand?
Okay.
You get- but as a professional YouTube serve, you're supposed to dey break things down.
No,
You
wait.
understand?
It's not me now. I understand where it's going to.
Okay.
But it's people the viewers that are watching.
Yeah. So that I tell us making a breakdown things. You understand?
yeah.
So Daniel, let's continue. Make Daniel continue. Make Daniel say, you know, see your blood is hot. Yeah.
Okay, so aperture now has to do with the lens. So
Okay.
now the aperture works in such a way that just like your iris, for example. You know that when you are in the dark, the general terms when you are for people that are in school, for example, that's in junior and the senior secondary schools, for example. Now when you are in school, they are telling you that when you are in the dark, there's this thing that when you are in the dark, your iris in that which your eyes, it tends to open more. That's where that's the dark part of your eyeball. That dark part, it tends to open more wider. Even in movies, when you look at it, when they are showing those guys particular eyes, it opens more wider. You understand? So now when it's not in the light, the thing tends to shrink more because of why the entry of the light becomes too much. Understand? So now that's what aperture is all about. Aperture has to do with the opening and closing of the camera this thing iris. That's the camera eyes. More of the eyes.
The optical.
The optical this thing in the camera. How should I put it? Okay, wait. Let's just put it the iris in the lens.
Yeah.
Let's just put the iris in the lens so that people can actually understand it more. So the lens actually has an iris. Understand? They actually has an iris. So now, how does this work? Now, the more you open the aperture of your lens, that is in the camera now, through the camera, when you open the aperture of your lens, the more the light will come in. Understand? The more light comes in. You understand? The more light comes in. So now the and if you close it, the lesser the light comes in. Now the time you use ISO and aperture is in two different places now. You use ISO when you have more of a you increase your ISO when you have more of a low lightning, whereby the lightning of a particular place or the place where you are working, the environment in general is dull.
But you get any what if it can be the disadvantage? You get any disadvantage when you increase your ISO the more?
That's one of the things. So the disadvantage of the ISO now when you increase it is that how will I put it? There's this grain that begins to show on your spot.
Noise. It's called noise.
Okay, so the noise that comes into your picture or video when you are shooting. You understand? So you just have to be cautious of how you increase the ISO now.
Okay.
So for the aperture, the time you are being forced to open your aperture is when you are in a dark. The same thing when you are in a dark environment. So you have to open the aperture very well. Understand? That's whereby you are increasing the numbers also. So when you are in a light environment, you have to also just like your eyeball, you have to like blink, like when you have to blink some so the iris can go down. So the same thing goes for the aperture. You have to like reduce the aperture just for less light to come in through the camera.
Yes.
So that's what aperture and ISO is all about.
Okay, Ajibola, you get what you want to talk about,
Yeah.
ISO and aperture now. What we discuss about right now.
Okay.
You get viewers out there. I beg make not forget to like, share, and subscribe for this particular video. You go actually go a long way and also encourage us to do more of this kind of video. You get now beg with the beg. We know say make now by force, but now beg with the beg. Yeah. So you just make a push on to you.
Okay. So ISO is the sensitivity of light, as I said.
Yeah.
Okay, but let me just use this my own way of explaining.
Yeah.
You know. Okay, so ISO is the one in charge of sensing lights outside. Like, okay, let's say a photograph like silhouettes. When the subject is dark and we have a moon at the back or anything, just a shining light at the back. So ISO is the one in charge of telling the camera that, bro, now lights be that one, no. Now that light with the take. Now that light gonna go bright everywhere. Yeah. So ISO is the one setting the light of the background, setting the light of everywhere. I don't know how they did the camera or how they did the ISO, but it is very unique that it senses the light around everywhere. Then makes okay, this is camera. This is where the light is. Then it spotlights the lights. Then allows the camera to use the lights. Okay, so let me go to the aperture. Aperture is the opening and closing of the lens. If the light comes through the camera, without the opening of the aperture, lights won't come into the camera. So if you look at the lens very well, you see that lens has, if you are using a zoom lens, it has 3 layers. So for people that have seen zoom lens, but if you are using a crop set, they only have 1 layer. But if you are using a zoom, it has 3 layers. So, okay, so inside that lens, if you zoom in very well, if you are looking, if you are adjusting your aperture if someone that has a camera is adjusting the aperture, you'll be seeing. I've done it before. You'll be seeing a little switch.
Yeah, sure.
From that shining mirror. You'll be seeing a little switch from the lens. So that aperture opens the lens. It allows light to come into without opening your aperture. Your ISO won't be able to function well. So without the aperture, ISO cannot function. So they're working hand in hand. Okay, and let me just say, if you are a photographer, no matter how, don't increase your ISO more than 1600.
Why?
Even
because of noise.
Even 800.
If 800 is for like a normal lightning. But if you're in the afternoon, it's like 200 or 400. Just it depends on the person that is. I can't judge because people have different way of setting their cameras. People have different way of setting their cameras. But no matter what, don't let your ISO exceed 800 to 1600.
800.
Mostly 800, because no matter if you start editing that photo on either Lightroom or Photoshop, it will always have issue. Like you always have issue with this. There's always a line around that photo that it will spoil. It will make that photo very like the image will be very sharp. You won't have that sharp feel of the image. So please, guys, don't let your ISO exceed 800. Like It's very bad. It's very bad. There's no light in that side. There's no light in that side. I want to use Baba light that's on top of my camera. Okay, let's use 1600. Please, guys. Please.
Okay, what would they talk now about ISO and aperture? Do you understand how because we also observe saying that one of the issues we newbies they get in terms of if they won't balance their camera, do you understand? The thing they kind of confuse them. You get so now waiting with they throw more light upon. Do you understand? So we'll push on to Mr. Ayo. Do you understand? Mr. Ayo, so wait till you go talk about begin aperture and ISO.
Though I don't have anything to actually say so much regarding the ISO and the aperture, because my two bosses have actually contributed a lot of major things that I need to actually spotlight under the ISO and the aperture. And when we talk about aperture and ISO, they have a very specific role that they need to play in any creative work in which you want to do, basically on photography. And when you want to look at photography is all about creativity. And your mindset is the goals that will actually bring the final result in photography. And when documenting, your lighting actually matters depending on what you want the final result to look like or the outcome. It's just an instance of when we talk about you just to be creative. Like there are a lot of creative images out there that when we look at very well.
So you make your pushes your mic
to us making use of cameras and the lights and everything. So we see that majorly if you don't actually look at what's it called, if you don't actually put our mind into the ISO or the aperture very well, you see that in most cases you just be flopping around, or at the end of the day you'll be frustrated if you don't know how to make use of these two things, because they actually play a lot of major roles. And another thing again that should not be left out when talking about ISO and aperture is your lightning. Your lightning in any space you get to, when you want to deal with these two guys, if you don't have their godfather, which is the lightning, there's nothing you can do with these two things.
Light is photography.
Because when light is out of photography, there's nothing called photography. Because light is the major component that actually organize everything under photography. So that's what I have about aperture and ISO.
Aperture and ISO. So one of the things we say I pick from waiting everybody don't talk about be saying for you when they come into to be a photographer, just one of the things where you go guys invest into now the kind of lights where you go use for your shoots or for your sets, you get it very, very important. You get just like waiting Idris and Daniel talk say one of the challenges we go face be saying now when you dey shoot now when now noise, and one of the ways where you fit avoid noise now when you have a good light setup. Now waiting also Mr. Ayo also place emphasis on, do you understand, the kind of lights where you use, so you go invest money for speed light at the same time where you invest for camera to get a good camera. Do you understand? So waiting I want to ask you say on what situation will we say you go find yourself where we say you must the shutter speed go come in, you understand? Because I know say one of the two you go ask place emphasis on ISO, aperture and shutter speed. Do you understand? So these things now one of the things I know that the three things we say you guys look into, do you understand, as a photography. So on what scenario or on what case we say the shutter speed go play its own role?
Okay, can I go
yeah, so let's make a yeah, Chibola.
Okay. Let me first explain shutter speed.
Okay.
Shutter speed, like, it works in measure of time, or let me just say motion.
Yeah.
Okay. Shutter speed plays a very big role in photography.
Okay.
Let's say, in you taking memories or you taking actions, either whereby either taking a concert photograph. No, if I doing a concert photograph, mostly in photo, even it has a little bit of effect in photo shoot, but let me just say mostly concerts, or just taking memories.
Yeah, emotions.
Shutter speed helps you in keeping that particular memory, that particular shot you need. As I said before, when I use that illustration of a car coming, someone shooting his head out.
Yeah.
So the person that is playing that role of that photograph is shutter speed. Without shutter speed, leave ISO and aperture. There just one that's balancing the lights.
Okay.
Shutter speed is the one making that picture, that still moments. Otherwise, is the one taking that moment. Okay. Yes, if you increase your shutter speed, if you can detach your lens from your camera, if you increase your shutter speed, like let me say 4,000 or 8,000, if you are pressing it, you see that click will be very fast. It will be bang. So and shutter speed always have one all over a number. So shutter speed takes in 1 all over this amount of number. So if I put 1 all over 200, so that one is taking 1 all over 200 seconds of time. Like I say, for shutter speed works with time. 1 all over 200 seconds. So that person that is coming with his car that shooting Z out, I'm taking that person 20 seconds before that action goes out of the frame. So shutter speed is very unique that it works with time, like Doctor Strange. It works with time. You understand? It works with time. So shutter speed works with lightning a bit.
Okay.
If you reduce the number of your shutter speed, and if you take your shutter speed to like, let me say something like 30 or 20, it will bring in more light into the photograph. And your photo will be blur one. And no matter how you want to make your lens, so you either use autofocus or manual focus, no matter how you make it very clear, it will always make it blur. Why? Because your number is low, and it is taking a very low seconds. More than what is meant to be taken. So at that low seconds is taking that, it's catching that. At that low seconds it is taking it. It's absorbing more. It's bringing more light into the photograph.
Yeah. Okay. Then make a push this on to you. What does it mean to what will be different between when for camera most times you go see MF, AF. What do it mean? And what does it mean to shoot on MF? And what does it mean to shoot on AF?
Okay. MF, AF. Okay. It's not MF, not the MF. MF means manual focus.
Okay.
When you're saying AF is autofocus. So now, when we talk about manual focus in photography, and it has to do with more of the camera you're using now. So now, if you look at your camera and you look at the lens, you look at by the side, you see where you put MF, AF. So when your camera is switched to MF, you find out that you have more control over your lightning, over your ISO, your aperture, all this your shutter, all those basic settings.
No, I don't really think it's ISO. It's only lens. MF and AF. If they're talking about, is it in lens or the camera?
It has to do with
they
everything.
talk about the camera, they talk about the lens also in this scenario.
Okay.
So
He's on point.
okay, so MF, when you are saying manual focus now, manual focus it gives you full control over your camera in terms to the lens, to the settings, like in terms of your lighting and everything. You have full control over it, whereby you can adjust the settings and all those things. So and also for the focus lens also the same thing. So now, but when you now put your camera or your lens to autofocus, now that is AF. You find that you have less control over most of the settings. Like in terms of the ISO, you will not have control over it, the aperture, even when your focus lens also. You find when you are not talking about autofocus now on the lens now, you find that when you are trying to press your shutter button, you see that the lens will start to like make some sort of movement, like it's moving by itself. So that's the work of the autofocus. It's as you are trying to press the shutter button, it's trying to find out adjusting the lens, focus lens, so that it can be on focus on the particular subject you are trying to take or picture you are trying to take. You understand? So that's what made the manual focus and autofocus. So manual focus gives you full control over your camera and in photography, and also autofocus you have less control over your camera.
Okay, Mr. Ayo, more question to you. So, Mr. Ayo, now you go answer two questions in one. Do you understand? Say in one scenario, we'll go first to use our shutter speed and also waiting it mean to use your waiting for camera. What would they see? MF and AF.
Yes,
waiting it mean.
Okay. In most cases, when you have to make use of your shutter speed, shutter speed is actually one of the things that contribute a lot to photography, because if you are more of a photographer that documents or tell a story, a storytelling photographer, you know that no moment passes by you that you want to document, because every moment has a lifetime story to tell. in the face of the particular audience or people that will want to watch the pictures later on. Just an insight of somebody crying in a particular event. Okay, probably when you go for a wedding party whereby the couple's mother or the bride's mother is crying, then probably when they are praying during the prayer section and the likes, you as a photographer, you don't want to be looking at the woman. You are just crying for what? Are you a baby?
Yeah, she want
thank you. You understand that one? So, are you a baby that you just be crying? You as a photographer, you just stand there with your photograph, with your camera, be crying. Just they play. You understand? They play, right? But in this kind of case now, you as a photographer, you need to do what? You need to take the moment.
Yeah.
And don't forget that within those moments also, if the woman is a kind of a mother that doesn't like people to actually see too much, yeah, she wants to clean off the tears. Don't forget that you are working with this sequence or you are documenting the moment. So immediately the tears start rolling out. You're also shooting the pictures. So getting your images that will actually tell a deep story or give the audience about, the full details of what the wedding looks like or what the event looks like. But once you miss that moment, you can't never regain that moment. And that's one thing about shutter speed. Or it's just an exciting moment whereby you are shooting an exciting moment whereby the people are screaming, shouting for joy. Don't forget that once you miss that moment of shouting for joy, whereby somebody, imagine that somebody shout and jump. Like the way the person jump, the person jump from from the congregation. Then you try to capture the moment. Imagine the way the person jumped and you never knew that he even jumped. He can even jump in that kind of way. But you now missed out the moment. The person that actually gave you the gig was not asking about that particular moment that, do you remember that guy that jumped? You understand? But there's nothing to write home about this particular moment now. And don't forget that when you are dealing with shutter speed, your shutter speed also can contribute to your blurriness in a particular setting of images or in a particular setting of creative pictures. So now determine the kind of result you want to get. So it actually matters in any images that you are documenting, not just about you making use of shutter speed. And shutter speed can be used in different kind of ways, depending on the outcome of the images, or what you want the images to look like at the end point. So when we now talk about the manual focus and the autofocus,
we'll never go there.
Okay,
You get. So I want to quickly clear something. Do you understand? So my question because I'd also put myself I be newbies. Do you understand? I don't really get knowledge about waiting one of this. What we discuss for here.
Yes,
so I want to ask. Shutter speed. It a good when we say now for in terms of something where we say they on motion. So when I mean by say something where they on motion, like something where we say they run fast, or they move fast. In that case, for you to get a good picture, you have to increase your shutter speed or to lower your shutter speed?
Okay, in answering this question now, is that one, the best place for your shutter speed to be at, in as much you want to actually freeze a moment or caption a moment, is one. The first thing you need to understand how the shutter speed work, even as a beginner. So like in most cases, you actually want to leave your shutter speed at 160 to 200. In most cases, you want to leave it at 160 or in some cases also 250. But within those range of 160 to 250, so it's very, very okay for you to actually leave it at that range. When you are talking about shutter speed, regardless of any event you want to find yourself, because when you are talking about, there's no way. If you're a storytelling photographer or if you're a photographer documenting any kind of event and you actually want to tell the details of how the event actually went, you want to always play around with your shutter speed. you want to always play around with your shutter speed. So the only back end result that you want to always keep now is between the range of 160 to 250. But if I want to play with my own shutter speed majorly, I normally work with 160, 200.
Okay.
It's fine in my own setting.
150 to 200.
200.
But what about the camera type? It don't really matter.
And in most cases,
Or depending on the camera type, now you go can determine with number where you go play with.
No.
Shutter speed is
The shutter speed is automatically by default. There's nothing changing in the shutter speed of every camera. There's nothing changing aside from the what's it called, from the black and white camera then of those days.
Okay, make I put this question to Ajibola. Do you understand?
sir.
Waiting be the downside of shutter speed, if it's strongly used or if it's wrongly used. What's the downside of shutter speed?
You have blurry photos. and
Blurry photos. Okay.
You won't be able to take moments. You lose moments. Yeah, those are mostly, these are the twos. You have blurry photos. You lose moment, and some cases you may have more light than you expect in the photos. So those are the three. Yeah, those are mostly the three.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's not at the same time. It's also, let me just come in case of the what's it called, the blurry pictures. When you're talking about the
Okay, you see, okay, your purchase a mic.
okay, in terms of the blurry pictures, let me just come in case of the blurry pictures. You understand? Is that one? Is not, you can actually be creative with blurry pictures.
It depends. It
Yeah.
depends on the kind of lens you are. No,
Sure.
what creates those kind of blurry picture is your lens.
Sure.
We're talking about shutter
The
speed here.
moment. Okay.
Shutter speed will generalize. It will generalize all the
everything,
blurry.
yeah,
Like,
sure,
everything
sure.
will be very blur.
Sure,
Everything will be blur.
So waiting be the relationship between shutter speed. So is there a way shutter speed and this same
Lens.
prime lens gets any connectivity together?
Yeah.
Primaries and shutter speed.
Yeah.
Is
Because
the way when they talk, they talk
No.
blow.
No,
Yeah.
okay.
No, they don't have any relation together. They don't have any relation
It's only
together.
the aperture. When you talk about the aperture now, because the aperture is, according to the definition that they've given before, and from their differences of what they've actually talked about before, is that the aperture tells the amount of light that comes into the camera. So it's now in terms of the what's it called, the light sensitivity. Now
The ISO.
that the ISO, or what's it called, the aperture, is now coming in place of the prime lens. Not necessarily because of the shutter speed.
Okay, so in other words, they talk say no relationship between prime lens
No.
and shutter speed. Okay. So that Mr. Ayo, so Moko put on to you. So we see they talk about MF and AF. Okay, viewers out there, I beg Moko don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this particular video. You get you go actually encourage us to bring more of this kind of content up. You get, and I know someone at they learn or now they pick 1 or 2 points. You understand? Yeah. Just like I said earlier on, one of the things we inspire this particular conversation is for us to inspire or to encourage people we won't go into photography, we be say be new beast, just to give them an insight of waiting they will come face or see when they start. You understand? Everything we discuss about today now from their own personal opinion and from their own personal experience. Do you understand? It good that way because it good make you learn from somebody way there for the field and somebody we don't get experience regarding what you want to achieve. You get, it makes the process very, very easy. Do you understand? For you to cope or move alongside. Do you understand? So Mr. Ayo, so we see they talk about MF and AF. Yeah. Most camera where you see, you will always see AM and AF. Do you understand? So now waiting with the try one discuss about now. So what do you mean?
So,
you get in terms of camera wise and in terms of lens wise.
Yeah. So like what he actually said before about the MF is as simple as ABC. When you talk about manual, understand what manual is called and understand what automatic is called. When you understand what manual is called, when you understand what automatic is called, it's going to play their roles or their forms in the manual focus and the autofocus. When you talk about the autofocus, anything that is called auto, not by default, it is being made for you. So you don't need to stress yourself. You don't need to actually put everything. Is just as okay. It's just an example of Tesla. So the way it works is
like it moves by itself sometimes.
Sure. And
Yeah.
you-
Yes, why is he looking at me like that? Yes, now you got to take by himself
You know,
now.
making use illustration will be say in the convenience with
okay.
your son. No, they
That's
put
just
up
it,
in
that's
mouth.
just it.
so okay, it's just okay.
By the way, you're just against me.
Okay, let's cite an example of what's it called? Example of a car. We have the automatic and we have the manual, right?
Yeah.
The automatic now is actually makes so simple for anyone to drive.
Just move the thought so you could just go. Put your guy
Sure.
for forward. You could do
So it will just be going.
Yeah.
But manual, you have to pass through some kind of stress, like
change gear.
change
No,
the gear.
no, it's Nigeria car that you be passing through stress. You understand?
It's Nigeria to
If
you,
you are
right?
Nigeria
Just-
car,
Eh,
cannot
eh,
carry-
downfall.
eh,
You understand?
sorry. So in this kind of case now, everything is being made for you already down. So just for you to just come into the car,
I'll be moving and be
move.
going.
You understand? But in manual now, you have to pass through a lot of process.
Change
Change
gear.
gear.
You get thought to a bit.
Talk to, in this kind of case now, that's how it works on camera or in photography. Because in this kind of case now, when you are changing the gear and also pressing the throttle at the same time, your head is thinking calculating of
things.
different things at the same time. Like, how do I put this in place to achieve this result? How do I drive the car to this? You understand? But when you talk about the automatic, the automatic now, you know that okay, you just put it to the first one.
Drive,
to
drive.
drive. After driving, then
Then you move.
you move it, and after moving park, you understand all those kind of things. They are there already for you. You understand? But that's one thing about the automatic. It's just related to what is automatic on camera or in photography or the autofocus. You understand? So when you talk about the autofocus now in what's it called in photography now, so everything is being made for you. Aside from your what's it called your aperture.
Is it
and your-
autofocus?
Autofocus, yeah. Aside from your aperture and your what's it called the second guy, the ISO.
No, what you can only control in autofocus is only ISO.
No.
sure?
I mean
Yeah.
in terms of your lens now.
Your
When
lens,
you are
okay,
dealing with the
okay,
lens. When
okay,
you are dealing
okay.
with the lens. I'm not talking about the camera. When you are dealing with the lens. So when it now comes to the camera now, you know that the only thing you can change will be your ISO for the camera.
Yeah.
So when you are working on what's it called autofocus or anything auto on that's AVR or AR AVR. Don't worry. In our next session, you hear more about those aspects very well. So let's just go straight to the point of this one, the autofocus. You understand? So when we talk about that, so on a manual focus, just know that everything that you want to work on or deal with, you have to be the one to put it yourself. You have to
Put it to your test.
put it in your taste, yeah. E.g., it's just, let me tell you something. To me and to my own understanding, a lazy man is the one that will make use of autofocus.
No. You
To
can't.
me, no,
to
my-
you,
yeah,
yeah.
to me. I'm not talking about you. What works for you?
There go, you don't
will never
generalize
work
it.
for
So that's
me.
how we say that their own personal experience.
So what works for you will never work for me because
Yeah.
the way I
Just
actually
like as
learned
Dana is organized.
seriously. You understand? So because just like the way I actually learned for photography, I never learned photography with automatic.
Yeah.
You understand? With autofocus, I never learned
Yeah,
photography. in
that's
that
Went
way.
to the
You have
bush.
to do, you have to do the whole work, like let me say the whole work from the beginning to the end, like
Yeah.
go through this the process of working, of trying to focus and every other thing. But because if you don't do all these things, let me tell you something. There are some times that will come that you just have to just manipulate your images, just depending on the kind of photographer you want to be, though.
Yeah, it depends.
Just depending on the kind of, we have different kind of photographers. Sorry to say to the people that never went into photography, what photography is all about deeply.
I don't
But,
want call names. but I just did it.
So the roadside, you understand, the roadside photographers and the likes, we are different from each other. Do very well. We are very, very different from each other. I can say it 100% that we are different. You understand? So because photography is vast comparing to what people actually saw photography to be. So when you're not talking about manual and autofocus, some people will be like, Whoa, what are you telling me? My end result will actually make me to know what and what to do with my manual focus. So likewise, my end result will make me to understand what my autofocus should look like if I'm going to make use of the autofocus. Note, I'm not saying that autofocus is not good.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that manual focus is the best. To you that want to make use of the object autofocus and manual focus, so you are the one that will know how to make use of it in your own best way.
But manual focus is still the best.
Thank you. That's just
And I think your own personal experience.
Yeah.
Because all this is what they talk about. You get if now all these recent camera what they do now, what we say get good HDR. Do you understand?
yeah.
You will see the effectiveness of AI. Do you understand?
Yeah,
For
yeah.
the camera. Do you understand? You get so Moko no really.
Not
But
die.
just like what we would talk, be saying now from their own personal experience. Do you understand? Now based on what they don't do and what they don't see for the field. Now how they respond to this particular question. Do you understand? And fits. Go and compulsory or necessarily say you guys agree with them. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You get everybody's experience varies. Yeah. So one of the things we want to talk about now be say so we can even go into the principle of photography. Yeah. The principle of photography. Yeah. We get frame in frame, we get leading lines, we get Mr. Ayo, help us.
We have symmetry, we have rule of thought.
Yeah. So the principle of photography it very very broad. It very very broad and you get and if we decide to take all the principles that we no go fit, we no go live here today. You get so we go just speak for inside the principle and this principle and this for key things. Do you understand? We say you guys consider when it comes to photography. Do you understand? So we'll start with so the fourth principle what we touch for today's session now. We get rule of third, we get frame in frame, we get center position, and we get leading line. So these are the four principle what we discuss about for today podcast. Do you understand? So those of you now will be saying that they watch online. If you go online, go make further research regarding them. Do you understand? So just like I say, one of the things we inspired this particular topic or this particular conversation now because of this and encourage young people who want to go into photography. You get an idea or an insight of which thing they would face or deal with. Do you understand?
Sure.
In terms of this thing going into being a photographer or doing being the photography business. Do you understand? So Mr. Ayo.
Sure.
Mr. Ayo, yeah. Mr. Ayo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know they say you be man of timber and caliber.
Caliber.
Do you understand? We would like you to put and keep it short for us. Do you understand? Yeah. So, Mr. Ayo, rule of thought. Waiting rule of thought. In terms of the principle, waiting how you see or waiting you think say rule of thoughts be.
Okay. Although rule of thought is just as simple as this. Because, in this podcast, we will not be showing what they call a pictorial diagram of what rule of thought is. And there are things that an individuals or you as a beginner, you need to actually see so that you can understand how it works. But I'll make it as simple as this. I won't go into the full definition of what is all is like. So if you want to know, so you also watch the next post on the next one.
Okay, sorry, sir. Shout out to this thing, Wisin Faith. You get. I see your comments. Thank you so much. Wait till you just drop for the comment section. It really go encourage us. Do you understand? You get the energy there. Just help us keep that energy. Do you understand? We see you, we cite you, and we appreciate for the fact say you like this video.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wisin Faith. I be Mr. Ayo.
Yes, sir.
Wisin Faith.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Mr. Ayo, what could get you?
So when we talk about the leading lines, okay, we are talking about rule of thought.
Yeah, we're talking about rule
So
of
when you
thought.
talk about rule of thought, an example of rule of thought is cite an example of somebody at the front of you in a classroom, teaching a class or a congregation. Don't forget that when the person is teaching, if the person is making use of the board, which is the whiteboard, so the person will be standing. We have angles. We have the board is made in a rectangular form. So we have the middle, we have the right side, we have the left side. So if the person should be standing either at the right side or at the left hand side, automatically know that it's not covering the whole space, but the person is trying to illustrate
Okay, what is going on?
What is going on the board.
Okay.
So by so doing, you know that this person is actually what teaching at the same time. Also, you are trying to also document the person, including what showing the frame of what the person is actually teaching. So this can be actually said that this is what a rule of third.
Okay.
I don't think we are.
Yeah.
So it's just as simple as, because we are not showing a pictorial diagram of rule of third for you to understand very well. But we just need to just make use of something that is very, very simple. So that's what I can actually say about rule of third. So it's as simple as ABC. So the person can be teaching, but it's not at the center of the frame. It can either be at the left hand side of the frame or at the right hand side of the frame.
Yeah.
So this is what rule of third is all about, not at the right hand side. The one at the right hand side has another name for the own principle. So that we are going to hear.
Okay, Danny. Something so we just look
No,
like
wait.
this. Danny, wait till the
Can I
video.
take this part before that?
Oh yeah, okay, no, okay,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So, rule of third.
Yeah.
Rule of third is very powerful. Like, okay, in a photograph, we have 1001 things you can see. Like in this video now, there's 1001 things
Very well.
you can see.
I just realized that now.
Okay. So in a photograph, you have 1001 things you can see. Okay, so rule of third helps you illustrate those 1001 things. Like, it's let your subject, like, it's, how would I put it? It shifts your subject to a side. Then let's say, let me put it as, okay, let me put it as a thief. Okay, let me say a thief. Okay, this is the person. Okay, rule of third works in a grid form. In every phone.
Sure.
To know that, for you to know that rule of third is very important.
Agreed.
In every phone, we always have a grid line.
Yeah.
In your camera setting, if you check your camera setting, you always see a grid line. So, and it has 9 boxes. If you count it, it's 9.
Yeah.
Okay, so if the owner of the bag or the person in charge, or the owner of that particular stuff the thief wants to steal from is in the ninth box. Let me just say the 9th box. As the thief snatches that bag, that person in the 9th box, as the thief is running on his way, you can take that photo at that time. So that's where the reporter comes in. You only see a reporter when the reporter is taking the photo. Yeah, you only see him taking that photo or a video. So it's always by this. So if a reporter is talking, they always put down in the middle. But I like to illustrate something. They always put the subject by the side. So for you to see the remaining action. So that it mostly if you are watching, if you are I watch TVC very well, they are trying to spotlight another reporter outside.
Sure.
They always try to put the reporter by the side. For now, okay, this is the action happening. So rule of third helps you see more actions that are happening in the background. So that was it. There's 1001 things you can see when it's the rule of third. Okay, that's what I have to say.
Danny, I know say you get one thing. I know you say you put it into your mind when you want to talk. Yeah. Okay, shout out to Mr. Daniel Clarano. We see your comment. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, yeah, Daniel. Yeah, Daniel. Okay, that is a let's work with shout to you.
Amos.
Yeah, Daniel Amos, Daniel Clarano. Yeah.
So about the what
Rule of third, yeah.
I just want to look at where I can just put it in a simple form.
Yeah.
So rule of third, the grid. If you look at our grid lines very well, both the one in camera and the one in the phone also, it has 2 vertical lines and 2 horizontal lines. So once you do those, we do not give it that 9 boxes. He said also when you put 2 vertical lines and 2 horizontal lines, you understand? So it has 9 boxes. I understand, and also it now has 4 different meeting points. It has 4 different meeting points.
Segments.
Yeah, can call it segment, meeting points. I stand to be corrected.
So we just stand since morning.
Sit down.
So it has that for the missing point. I mean. So now those 4 meeting points are actually what now defines the rule of third.
Yeah.
I guess me. So that what now defines the rule of third. Now it doesn't necessarily have to be by the right. It doesn't necessarily have to be by the left. Also, now it can also be on top. The rule of thumb, your image can be on top, and the downside can be empty. It can be beneath, and the upside
Be empty.
can also be what
Empty.
at the same time. So what's now you need into what the rule of thought is all about now is that you just have to whereby your object is either in one of these points. You understand? It's either in one side in between these points. You understand? Not in the center. I mean, it's in one side of
Of every point.
of every point. Exactly, in one side of every point. That is whereby you have your image can be on top, and the downside is empty. It can be by the side. The other side is empty. It can be beneath, and the upside is empty. So that's what rule of thought is all about. Having this space, this field, you understand, within your picture. But it's not that the empty space is just there. No, it's actually reached a lot of meaning. And whereby you can, when you can use this principle of photography is whereby you are trying to portray something, a loneliness. You can use also when you are trying to portray something, feeling of loneliness, or maybe an adventurous sight or a view. That's how somebody in a high mountain. Or you went to Atlantis. Understand? You now have this big view, understand, of the snow and everything. Understand? Even the ocean also the same thing. Your image can be by the side. But you all understand what
Yeah.
Just telling the story behind the
background. Behind the background. So that's what rule of thought is always trying to portray in any video or picture. You use this particular photography principle in.
Yeah, let's say one of the things that they try was to see how to break something simple, make it very, very easy. You get, so we can just say one or two things for rule of thought. Yes, so just like in a layman terms, yes, waiting I feel still they try also want to explain. You get those of now we say get idea of interview, just like if you want to interview, just and you won't make use of screen. You get a more clearly defined the definition of waiting rule of thought mean be say, so you just want to have the TV by your right hand while you as the person you did by the left hand. Abina.
Yeah.
So that the picture of waiting rule of thought mean just so is that the person did by your left or you did by your right or Danny when they talk say underneath and beneath. Yeah, I can't imagine.
Yeah. Okay. So he said when he said a loneliness, okay, like someone sitting down in front of the beach, like when you go to beach now, okay, you now have nobody to talk to, just there, just thinking about having a fresh breeze, only you there. You can take the person may be beneath now, then you take the picture of the beach with the person, and the person is still beneath that part, and it's them still in the middle.
I don't get issue with the beneath, you understand? So what about the on top? They are both.
The top you can use birds.
Rising now, when you're trying to do like that.
Yes, mountains.
When somebody is trying to.
Okay, for mountains.
Like,
okay.
Or someone that is into a water.
Come here, I think say she go carry the person up. You understand? When you did for mountain, also you can also have your rule of thought. You understand? Yeah. So Moku Moku talk about frame. In frame, do you understand? Waiting frame in frame means you get. So what will they discuss? Viewers out there, what will they discuss now? Some of the principle of photography you get. So what will make the principle of photography plenty? Do you understand? And we just pick four key principles from our own end. We could discuss about them because if we say we want to take all the principles, do you understand? We feel no come out for yet today. Our podcast already reach almost 1 hour, or it's over 1 hour now. Do you understand? So by now we're supposed to wrap up with time. Do you understand? So we could just speak about four. You get. So we could talk about frame in frame. So waiting frame in frame be or waiting it look like. So anybody if he starts.
So when you talk about frame in frame though, in most cases a frame in frame, sometimes you can frame any object with anything. You can frame any object with anything. Be it your phone, be it your what's it called, with your microphone, be it with your glass, be it with anything. With flower, a flower vat, water on the floor, anything. You can frame your frame. You can do your frame in frame with anything, because I don't want to go into this too much. An example of a phone at the front of a photographer, whereby the pastor is preaching behind the camera. Probably the person making use of the phone wanted to snap the pastor. You understand? So in this kind of case, and you as a photographer can actually make use of the phone to shoot your frame, to get your frame, you shoot the pastor from the phone. Then the pastor is going to be showing, in the phone. So that's just one thing about frame in frame. Thank you.
Okay.
Can I just? I won't illustrate. I'll just explain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, now.
Okay. Frame in frame is where you have that your particular object you are trying to tell a story about is appearing in two forms, but one is a little bit clearer than one.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? Okay. Let me use in terms of a glass. Okay.
Yeah.
We have people that want to take a creative photo of, let me say, this person is in front of a glass. They're trying to touch his or herself. Like it's like as if the person wants to touch herself through that glass. Then when you take that photo, it is frame in frame. Like the person is showing in the mirror, and the subject is literally just showing again. So we have the same objects appearing appearing twice, but in one picture form.
This is very deep.
So that is frame in
Very,
frame.
very deep. Daniel, we could hear you frame in frame.
Okay, so they are like basically they have said it all. So but
I've said it all.
they have said it all.
Yeah.
They have said it all.
But you have something to chip in.
I have something to say also. So now, what that frame in frame is more by like whereby your center of your object, your side, the side of attraction is placed in the center of an object. Okay, your subject is placed in the center of an object. So what you are trying, the real story is always inside in the center or is inside your object. Like you are using, so like just like when you give an example of when you can use a flower or anything. So that flower, that water, that vase you are using, that window you are using is an object. So but the main subject is always in the center or is always inside that frame of that particular object. So that is what I just want to say.
Hey, well, I want to correct. What is called frame is like that box of that image. That is called frame. So for people that don't know what frame is called about, frame is mostly the box.
Although in what's it called, in frame as a principle, you understand? In some cases, it doesn't really need to matter the box. You understand? The four square, it doesn't really to matter the four square. That it should be straight like this.
No. I'm not talking about frame. I'm talking about only frame. Like
Okay,
what
the
frame
main
is
frame,
called.
okay,
What
the
frame
main
is
frame,
called.
Okay, correct.
It's just that
Correct,
box size of.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Yeah. So we can move to center position. Center position. Daniel won't talk. Daniel, we use Daniel. Daniel today. Daniel a man of few words today. I don't know why waiting happened. Just yeah. So Moku just push man of few words. Yeah.
Okay, so sorry about that. What center means now? What center really means now is when you are talking about center. When you are talking about center, you are talking about whereby your subject is in the middle. Is in the center of
just as we did for middle of this camera.
Exactly.
It's in the middle of the focus. It's in the middle of your like in the center of your camera. It's just like now we are going back to our grid lines. So don't let me make it look confusing. We are going back to our grid lines now. Now I say that it has four meeting points now. So when your subject is in the middle of those four meeting points, so that's more of a centered photography principle of photography. So like and when we use most this center principle is when in terms of trying to show a feel of or maybe use it in terms of when you are teaching, when a teacher is teaching and you want your people to this person is teaching or is showing authority in terms of authority. That's when you use this type of principle in photography. You see it majorly for these pastors when they are preaching. You see that people tend to use that type of photography.
Why don't they place emphasis on pastor? Only pastor they preach on top stage.
Okay, which why I use them to use pastor.
easily
No, you know,
relates.
guys explain. You can we could just
Okay, but
Yeah.
that's what I don't have to say.
okay for center position.
Okay, let me talk about. Okay.
You feel use Afa.
Okay, so another word for center is called symmetry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
Deep.
So symmetry is being taken. A symmetry kind of photo is always in the middle.
Yeah.
And then I said 4 points always in the middle. Okay. So what symmetry always try to portray is like we don't want as I said, we have 1001 things you can see in the photo. But we don't want your eyes to see the 1001 thing. We want you to first see one thing first. If you're always looking at a flyer design of any or a banner design, you always see that you always have this big text that's always coming out first. And it's mostly in the middle. Let me just put it's mostly in the middle. So that you want I want everyone to see my subject.
Which is the thing.
This is the person, this is the owner of that photo. He paid for it. He will say, my money I pay. Okay, so I want you guys to see like this is the person I'm trying to show you guys. This is the owner. I'm the one. Ashiwaju. That kind of thing. Okay, if you are going to offices now and they want to show the photo of either a governor or a president of that particular country or that particular state,
The middleman.
you always see that the person's always in the middle. You can never see them putting the person on a rule of third, because they are trying to tell you that okay, this is the person.
In charge.
They don't want your reaction to go to another place.
Yeah.
So that what symmetry is all about.
Black and bold. Yeah. So Mr. Ayo.
So, I don't have anything to say.
Wow.
So that was
Sir,
it.
well, can I-
Because
can I-
of the time.
Okay.
Because of the time. I want to be time conscious.
Yeah.
So what I just have to say about
Mr. Ayo not get anything to say. What do you want to say?
is like portraits. When you look at portraits
Yeah.
frame, any picture you look at, if you are talking about portrait, the man at the middle automatically is the center position.
Yeah,
That's
just like
just
wedding picture where the bride and the groom go there for middle
Look
and
back.
everybody
Yeah,
go
yeah.
there by the side.
No
That's
baton,
all, the
that's
baton.
finished.
Chicken out.
You want collect about.
This is something. Just correct. Symmetry and this thing and
Center.
center, they are different.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
I don't agree with you.
So
They are the same thing.
Let me tell you. This is why I say they are
Okay.
different. Okay. Okay. They are,
Say it now.
Yeah,
No, say, Moku, no, you don't talk am, you go talk am.
okay. So what symmetry is all about are like complementary sides that complement each other. It's just like in mathematics, symmetry, the symmetry of an angle now.
You need blackboard.
I wish I could have that point like this. Like the sides that complement each other, they're like complementary angles. Like when you say complementary angle of symmetry. That's when you're in mathematics. When you're doing mathematics now, for example, you hear something called angle of symmetry. Complementary angles that complement each other. You understand? So that means like symmetry doesn't have to be necessarily at the center. Like you can have this particular shape here, you can have this other shape here, and you have your subject in the middle. So that's what symmetry is majorly about. When you're talking about center now, center is like your focus, as you
Middle,
just
the
said,
main
the
focus.
main focus in the middle.
Wait.
Symmetry can be at either side.
Wait. I don't really want to turn this into argue, but let me just correct what he's saying. Symmetry in terms of in maths, you're bringing the math format into photography.
It applies.
It does not apply.
Blood of Jesus.
Go to your Chrome and go and search it. Just try. When this podcast, you just try and go check your Chrome. Symmetry and center, they are the same. You are just changing the term. You're changing your word. You just you are changing word. Yeah, I said okay. I want to change the word to symmetry.
No, the other word. For
Okay. Let me change rule of thought. I can call it like I call it a side image now. I can just call the rule of thought a side image. It's just a change of word. You are bringing into you are bringing the math mentality into photography, and that's not it.
see. Look,
It does not apply.
Wait. No, stop, wait. I didn't know we need to correct this thing before you get out.
No, let's correct it.
Like they are saying center means symmetry. You know what center? Center means middle. Something like Yoruba will say to align. So another word for center is middle.
What is it?
Another word for
Okay.
symmetry. When you are wrong,
It's not say it's symmetry.
another one for symmetry. It's the same thing. Another
Okay.
one for symmetry are complement. It's called complement. Symmetry, complementary angles. Like I say, the angle of symmetry. You're talking about complementary angles. And
That
you're
one-
talking about see.
Why you putting?
Photography has to do with calculation.
Okay.
It's
Just for this podcast to be done. Okay, we'll argue this thing later. We'll argue this thing one-on-one.
Okay,
Ourselves.
okay, viewers out there, do you understand? If you help us make that particular research and also leave them for our comment section, do you understand? Yeah. I never
Drop it
know
there.
what talking. Yes, I just a little of there you get.
Drop
So,
it there.
oh yeah, so Moku talk about leading lines.
Yeah.
Moku talk about leading lines.
That
Yeah.
one is very sweet.
Yeah, so Moku yeah, within leading lines be like
Okay, should I? Let me go.
Anybody
first.
if
Let me
he
go
starts.
first.
Just go.
Okay, leading lines is when you are trying to use as it's using angle of symmetry. Say it complements. Okay, leading lines. You are using lines works with when you are using an object to explain. Like you are bringing people face. You are using an object to bring people face to your subject.
Yeah. Yeah, correct.
Let me use the illustration of a street lights. Like let me say my subject is in the middle. Or I have a speed light on it, I have a softbox on it, and all this kind of stuff. Okay, so I have many street lights going in the night. Let me use the night. Many street light is on in the night. And it's on.
street light no dey fit dey on for during daytime nah.
No. Someone else might for sure. Someone else, boy.
Okay.
Okay, so we can see difference. I'm using that touch of light to control. I'm controlling the light's power. Like, okay, how would I please? I'm using that light point. Okay, that light. Okay, I'm bringing this the street light to be more bolder than my. So my subject will be very little. Then my street light will be very big. So now when the light is on in you, when you prompt the photo, that you'll be like, okay, lights. When you're looking at the lights, it takes you down to the person down there. Okay, that person will be very small, which means I'm using that light to illustrate this person that is down there. So leading lines, like you use objects to explain, to illustrate your subjects. That's what leading light does.
Okay.
It is well. And then the next time we'll bring this blackboard.
Actually, I really did.
You get we just illustrate. Okay, Mr. Ayo.
I don't have anything to say.
I don't know.
Yeah, I said it all.
Mr. Ayo.
Yeah, I said it all, sir.
I don't know why everybody they laugh, but I don't know. Yeah, but Mr. Ayo, I don't say
No,
you
yeah,
go.
no, yeah, I said it all. Yeah, I said it all.
Yeah, Daddy, what do you want to talk?
You also the same thing I said.
Yeah, I said it all.
No,
Hey,
no,
okay.
because
I said
we don't want to enter topology we're paraphrasing the same word. So yeah, so
Exactly.
I actually said it all.
Yeah, same journey.
Okay.
Because of our time.
Well, wait till we not agree now. Center light.
After the podcast is we'll draw a table then.
Okay, viewers out there, I beg, now please with the plead with you now. Mokuna, don't forget to like, share, and comment this for this particular video. You go encourage us Moku do more of this kind of video, and I know say now they enjoy what now they listen to. Do you understand? Just like we say earlier, now from their own personal experience for this particular field, you get now waiting now where did they generate their answers from. Do you understand? You get, so you don't necessarily say you must agree with them. Do you understand? And if you say if you don't agree with it, they talk, you can easily reach out to us. Smoke will get this conversation with you one-on-one. You get, we'll go have a session with you. Smoke will discuss about this particular thing, and you go also make your own points. You get, I know, so when I don't learn from everything what we don't discuss here today. So one more question, do you understand? One more question where I won't ask. One more question. Yeah. So for people who be newbies, do you understand? You get waiting with a suggestion or waiting with an advice. Say now the things where they guys to improve on being a photographer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Like Pastor Sullivan what they said. If you're coming from the start, or if you're coming from scratch, don't pity yourself.
Yeah.
Like as Mr. Ayo said, as JJ said lately, he said, if you're using autofocus, like to him, you don't really know, you have not really seen, you don't really have a bigger picture of what photography should be for you. if you want to go big in photography, you need to like start from scratch. I started photography with a camera that was like the lens does not have an autofocus and manual focus. Manual is just manual. If you put an autofocus, it's not working. Your video, if you stabilize your video from your lens, it's not working. So you have to like come from the scratch. I have to like start doing my manual focus by myself. So I always say, don't be shy, because what I say for most photographers today is that they are mostly shy when they get into crowd. They'll get shy. And if you see other photographers, try to like relate. Don't beat photographers. Like you are a person, is a person. Yeah, you guys are trying to like work. So if photographers work in hand, you guys always get a very good result.
Yeah, sure.
So always try to work with other photographers. Don't pity yourself. Don't be lazy. And always try to check other people's work. It will always give you like this bigger picture of what like you need to take. Like, okay, you can have a picture of what you want to take for this particular event, but always have another bigger picture. Like, if settings change, what are you going to do? Always have a backup plan for your photograph. That's what I have to say.
Okay, then I get with you. You want to talk your
Um,
suggestion, advice on how newbies feel improve themselves for the photography industry.
just as you said, don't pity yourself
Yeah.
and start from the scratch. Also, try to make more research.
Mm.
No man is an island. Learn from what other people have done,
Sure.
and also learn from people's mistake, the do's and don'ts. Those are the rules also. And also try to don't be restricted to just one particular pattern. Try to explore more. Understand? Explore more. Try everything. Do this one, do that one. In fact, go on top of one very big house. If the highest house in your, stand there, snap everything. Do everything you need to do. So those my own is basically don't be limited. Just go on an adventure with your camera and just do what you need to do. So that's basically it.
So, Mr. Ayo, yeah.
The best thing that we actually keep or kill, the best thing that will actually kill a mass stream is what's it called? Is consistency.
Consistency will kill a man's dream.
Okay.
This is how it works. If you are not consistent in whatsoever thing you actually find yourself, consistency there, we actually finish the whole stuff. We turn it off if you are not consistent. And another thing again is that you as an upcoming photographer, just know that one day you actually start, and you need to pass through every process that is attached to photography. It's just a thing of joy to me when I look at the camera I actually used to start photography.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the cameras and everything, you just like, oh, like, can I? So
Me and Mr. Ayo, we don't get a lot of ups and downs. No, we don't
Seriously.
get a lot of ups and downs. You get, we dey come from somewhere, dear sir. You get,
Seriously.
so what we want just to be saying now, just to give God the glory, to
Yeah.
give God all the glory, dear
Yeah.
sir. You know, you see,
Yeah.
you get, well, if you look
Yeah.
at the growth,
Guy.
the growth ratio, yes,
Guy,
sir. I can
seriously.
seriously relate with it in the talk. Now, what
Seriously.
make me chip into this particular
Yeah.
thing? Well, chip
Yeah.
in when in the talk,
Yeah.
you get, there's
Yeah.
always our growth faces, do you understand? It has been awesome. Yeah, Mr. Yemoko, make you continue.
Seriously, because according to what my boss actually said, I remembered some gigs that we had then. Well, while you complain on the camera, you like, so I look at what we are getting as a picture. You know, by the time you get back to the system to edit, you like, man, what's this? And don't actually be downcasted with what the kind of weapons people are carrying by you. When I mean weapon, you should understand what I'm saying. Telephoto, A4, all this, like A1, what's it called, A7, and every other thing, Sony.
Mac.
You understand? Remember that there is going to be a day that you surely get to that point where they are. And it's not, so in some cases, it's not all about the equipment.
About you.
It's about you. What do you want to pass out to the people? And what do they want to see in the feed of what you are doing? How creative you are is not about the camera sometimes. It's about your thinking faculty, your inner man. that okay, this is what the end product of what you should be giving out is going to look like. So you can even take your phone and shoot and still get something better, quite to what the person that has a good phone, camera or equipment. So photography to the beginners should be, in this field, you pass through a lot. You pass through the nights of being slapped by people, probably when you're documenting, or hoodlums, embarrassment, moment of crying, moment of anxiety. That why did I even come to this niche? But if the niche is for you, there's one thing: just stay focused, and also make sure that you know that the photography is your calling, and every other thing will become a story of joy at the end point. So over to you, sir.
Okay. We done the wrap up this particular podcast for today. You understand? Just like within all of them don't talk. Do you understand? There's no shortcut to success. Do you understand? There's no shortcut to success now in the life. Do you understand? Yeah. Whether you like it or not, do you understand? You must go through the process. You must go through the process. The process is very, very important. Not because of anything, but now for you to also make best use of waiting, the value waiting you dey even do. Do you understand? Now waiting the process go allow you, go make you be. Do you understand? Just like Mr. Ayo say, sometimes if it's not even about the gadget, do you understand? Yeah. But it's about you, the person, waiting you did for your mind. Do you understand? So one of the things I also advise young bees we say won't go into the photography industry, or if you don't did there, you get one or two challenges. You understand? We also face the challenges where you go through. We face some big time. Just that we face some big time.
Can even be more than.
Do you understand? I don't see any challenge where we say as a photographer where we say you go face for this industry where we never face. Yeah. Do you understand? I never see you get, but just because of the right mindset, do you understand? Sure. Now one of the things where we say they keep us pushing and keep us going. Sure. Do you understand? The mindset of that there must always be alternative, and also the mindset of we don't make the mistake. Do you understand? Yeah. How can we get better, or how can we improve on what we did too? Do you understand? It really go a long way. So just like one of the things I will also say, if it be new, do you understand? There's a time where we say when we go out for events, we say everything we want to do for the event, we go write them out. Sure. then we'll get somebody when we say they read that out. You don't do this, so you don't do this, so you don't do this. So. You get. So not because of anything you get. You just sometimes it's also good to also plan out things, especially when you be new beast. Do you understand? Because sometimes all these things you know could get down for your mind, and when you talk about the pressure, if the pressure comes too much on you, if you forget some kind of things. Do you understand? So if you can write out things down, then you know say you don't write down. So in as much as say the pressure they too much, all you just have to do is just to carry your book and look at everything where you don't write, the kind of shots where you want to take. You go really go a long way. You get this one from personal experience also. Do you understand? Just like we say, do you understand? You know, go easy. The journey no go easy. You get the process you have to go through the process for you to value within you they do. Do you understand? And one part of this would say, once you continue the process, it will help you build confidence in what you they do based on experience. Experience now, confidence they come as a result of the experience where you don't get. Sure. Do you understand? Either direct or indirect, either leveraging on somebody or your personal experience. Do you understand? Yes. Because why you thought say leveraging on somebody, get some kind of backup, so you go tell you say just go, no worry, we do your back. No, sure. So when you hear that kind of talk, you understand, you go say yes, okay, no problem, we got you covered. You get. I know they want, I know be motivational talker they give. You get. I just like we said, you understand. Make you viewers out there, I would beg una please make una like, share and subscribe for this particular video. You go really go a long way for us to produce or do video like this. You get encourage us the more. And when we see your comment and we say you like our video, they sweet us for body. Now the truth be that. So you go make us make we want to do more than further research to bring up new topic. Do you understand? Make we encourage us, like, share and comment. So I don't know whether if anybody get anything where they want to talk before we go wrap up the podcast.
No.
Daniel, you get anything where you want to? Daniel, you just say come. Yeah, Mr. You just say come today. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. So we want to appreciate everybody. We don't take their time to watch our podcast. I know say easy out of your busy schedule, you still make out time to come join us for this our podcast. We really appreciate and we not take your time for granted. You get from our end from this particular place as a team, G4 Expert Consults Limited. We say thank you so much and have a beautiful day. You get thank you so much, guys. Good day.
Thank you. Wow.
Allah, kò ní wá lọ save audio ẹ̀ wọ́n ni ó pa.
Very beautiful.